demons, being annoying.
I'm too cheap to get Netflix.
Are you joking?
It's been the hardest and the most challenging that I've ever had to do. It has been wild.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
So today I want to talk about careers and changing careers and having different careers and what that looks like for you personally, and also a little bit for me because I also have changed careers. So I also think it's something that a lot of people can relate with. I don't know if it's very normal anymore for someone to work the same job most of their adult life. And we're in a completely different world. So you have a very unique journey of how you got to your current career.
I certainly do because I started this YouTube channel when I think I basically went full time when I was 53, 54 years old, which was completely different than anything that I've ever done previously. And I started from scratch, a brand new career. So, yeah.
But before I want to talk about the YouTube channel, because I bet you no one really knows what you did. Maybe like right before your YouTube channel, because you probably have talked about it a little bit, but not necessarily what you did as a career or careers, plural, before. So I do want to chat a little bit about your previous careers
Yeah.
and
So,
what you did, kind of like what you went to school for.
right. So I, right out of high school, went to hairdressing school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a hairdresser for a lot of years. And I worked in a salon for probably 3 or 4 years. And then I started a family and I had a little shop in my house where I did hair. I guess that's probably where my entrepreneurial spirit comes from because I've always kind of had my own business or a side business right from the very start. So yeah, I did a lot of hair at home in a little shop. And then as you guys were little, I was doing hair while you were napping and in between. And it worked really well. And then oh, I guess I forgot a career
I
because
know you forgot what total in between career.
a total income. Yeah. So I was a hairdressing and then probably, yeah, about 3 or 4 years into hairdressing, I went back to school and took dental assisting.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked in a dental office for probably 7 or 8 years, still doing hair on the side in the
Mm-hmm.
evenings and on weekends, and but working in a dental office for that amount of time. And then after I had you and your brother, I went back to just working full time doing hair at home. So that was two completely different careers that I had up until I was probably about 40, I think. And
Really?
then, yeah, maybe I think it was 40. For yeah, maybe 43, not sure. I can't remember the actual dates. But then I had another completely 360 and I went into partnership with a girlfriend of mine and we had a restaurant. And
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of pizza and subs and burgers. And I know we've talked about this in another podcast. But I loved that job. It was so much fun. It was busy and we're on the go all the time. There was never a dull moment. We had a lot of fun. We had a really great crew that we worked with together. And so yeah, before I started my YouTube channel, I hairdressed and I worked in a dental office and I had a restaurant. And while I was doing all of this, like I said, I was doing hair on the side, but I loved thrifting. And I was thrifting and actually buying stuff and selling on eBay too, which you
Yeah.
probably remember.
Well, and I remember when you were doing hair because I remember all of your kind of little hair stations in our house. Like you would always have a one room that was dedicated to the people that you would do your hair. And I remember being in that room a lot as a little kid and all of the older ladies who would come and get their perms. You were doing perms all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure they were, so excited to always have, like, these little kids running around.
And actually
Um,
thinking back, I think that was some of the they love that. Like if they came to get their hair done and they didn't get to see you or your brother during their appointment, then they were disappointed. So that was always really nice.
yeah, and I don't really remember being super little, but I'm sure there was lots of times where I came down, I was like, "Mom, Keenan's being annoying."
Many times.
But I do remember there was a lot of pieces in your hair studios that were thrifted that you had redone and painted. I remember a purple cabinet that had all your hair supplies in it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
I
I
remember getting into that cabinet and doing my own taking the thinning shears and thinning my own hair
oh.
and cutting my own hair.
And you had thick, thick hair. So it was
Yeah.
a big job to hack through that. But yeah, so that was I've done a lot of different things and I kind of have the mindset of I never really was keen on sticking with something and doing it for the rest of my life. I always was like I wouldn't say I got bored, but I just wanted to learn something new. I wanted to
Yeah.
try something new. And yeah, that's how kind of all of those different jobs kind of evolved. I ended up doing, doing that. And I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool if I could learn how to do this. And then if I could learn how to run a restaurant. And then it kind of just went to, I wonder if I could run a YouTube channel.
And I think it also, because I have the same mindset too. I've always thought that I would have a hard time doing one thing for the rest of my life. And if it was a job that I was going to be in for a while, it needed to be very dynamic and changing. And I also needed to have a lot of control over what I wanted to do, which I know is not a lot of bosses' favorite style of employee, which I've definitely come to butt heads with a little bit in things that I've done in, like, you know, ways that I think were beneficial. And I don't think I did it ever in a rude way.
Mhm.
But yeah, but I think that came from you because I didn't see my parents like waking up and going to the same job every day. Like it was, you had this career and then you had this career and then completely shifted, and now we own a pizza shop and we're learning how to make pizza. And I think what that instilled in me was that the ability to learn a new skill was a lot more important about the ability to work a specific job.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something where I don't ever see life being set in stone where you have to do this for the rest of your life. I think we grow and we become better people by learning different skills and maybe creating different jobs. And you never know if that next job is going to be better than the one before if you don't ever try. And starting a YouTube channel, not knowing if it was going to work or if it wasn't going to work, but I'm, throwing everything in and going, might as well try. What is there, what can we lose? And it was probably the best business decision that I've ever done in my life. And, but that being said, it was also out of all of the careers that I've done, this has been the hardest and the most challenging that I've ever had to do, just based on the technology and what I had to learn and how to grow a channel on YouTube and make it successful. It has been wild.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot into it, and you were coming at it from someone who didn't have a large background in knowing how to run a channel or knowing a lot about YouTube or filming or anything like that, and you had to learn on the go, and then also learning behind the scenes about, thumbnails and testing and how to get people engaged and things like that. So it's definitely something that, like I said, the ability to learn a new skill, I think, has always been very, very important.
Yes.
And maybe the difference between this career and your other careers is that this one was born out of a real love for the thing that you're teaching people. It was a passion as opposed to maybe something that you were just trying to see if it was going to work out previously.
I think so. And I think with this job and running a channel is every day is something different. you get into a job and it's the same thing, you're doing the same routine or the same motion day after day. And with the channel, every day is different. Today might be creating pins for Pinterest to promote a video that you just did. The next day might be organizing something for the newsletter to provide some more info for followers, and the next day might be filming a video. There's just so many steps to it, and all of those are, I don't know, I'm also really big on learning something learning one thing new every day. I've always kind of
Mm.
been like that. I've always been like learning a new skill. And as I got older, it was, I want to challenge myself every day, learn a new skill. When I started this YouTube channel, it was like 10 skills a day.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like thrown in your face of so many things that you had to learn every day. But it was so rewarding and it's been so fun that I would have never dreamed that I would have the knowledge or the ability to run a YouTube channel, how we have done it where we are today.
So what was the new skill that you learned today?
My new skill that I learned today was how to bring my mic up further using a book and a grommet kit. So it's
What's a
closer.
Oh, never mind. I know what a grommet is. Thing that puts holes in paper?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I had to learn how to make a DIY mic stand
yeah.
so you guys can hear me better.
There you go. So because you've had so many different careers, what do you think is the most important thing that people should know when they're thinking about changing a career, um, at any point in their life?
Well, I think you have to have some reality about it too. Some people just aren't financially in a position where they can do that. So,
Mhm.
I think you need to set up your life to be financially stable, emotionally stable, to be able to make a change like this, because if you're not, you're probably not going to succeed. So, you have to have all of those things kind of lined up before you're going to do a major career change. But that would be the first thing, is to have all of that organized and then just do it. Just start. And I know myself, when after 3 or 4 videos in and I really enjoyed the process, um, I went to YouTube and I just sucked in any type of education that I could on how to run a YouTube channel, how to do it properly, how to start, how to make a video better. um, and I'm thinking back, there was one channel that I watched and I binge watched every piece of content, and it was Think Media, Sean Cannell.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I just watched everything that they put out, and they gave you step by steps as you're starting a YouTube channel of how to do it. And yeah, I just education, learn how to do it properly. Because if you're going to put that much effort into doing something and you want to do it properly, and then you have to have the education to do it. Otherwise, you're not putting out good content. Nobody's going to see it. So you might as well learn how to do it properly before you're doing it.
Yeah, and I think that also lends itself to the importance of having some sort of mentor or some sort of education platform that you trust, especially if you're changing your career into something that is going to be largely driven by yourself and your own motivation. Like you need someone there or something there that's going to keep you motivated to get up and learn about how you can make this work.
Yeah. And YouTube is that perfect platform for you to learn anything new that you want to do, any business that you want to start, any new project that you want to do, any new home improvement project that you want to do, you can find on YouTube. So if it's something that you're very good at, knitting, let's use knitting for example. You're really good at it. You've been doing it for years and years, and you feel like you want to share some projects. Then go to YouTube, find out, look up other people that have knitting channels, see what they're doing, see what's performing well for them. But then also find channels that, like we just said, like Think Media, a channel that's going to teach you how to take those ideas and turn them into a really good video and make it do well on YouTube.
Yeah. And what do you find makes you stay motivated? Like how in those early days when you weren't seeing instant success and you knew it was going to take a long time to build up a channel to maybe where you wanted it to be, like what are some techniques that you use to kind of keep pushing yourself forward?
Um, for me, as I've gotten older and I've matured and I've gone through so many hurdles in life, I have enough confidence to fill this room that it
Yeah.
was just when I started it, I had the confidence that I remember 3 or 4 videos in going, This is gonna work. I don't care how it's gonna work or how I'm going to do it. I'm gonna put the time and the effort into it, and I'm going to build a huge crafting channel where I can help other people learn these techniques or learn these, ways to thrift and save money and share them and maybe help somebody else make some extra money, on the side with going to thrift stores and thrifting or selling on Poshmark or eBay or making gifts so you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to do something that's homemade. And I just was so passionate about being able to share that kind of thing. And I was so driven to I got to build this channel. I have to make it work. And I'm going to do whatever it takes, which means sometimes working 12, 13, 14 hours a day, binge watching videos, going back and re editing or doing a better voiceover or learning how to film better. And I put the work in and I had the confidence that I was going to make it work and I was going to do it. And then adding you on my team added another whole circle of now I really have to make it work because I have my daughter under my wing.
Yeah, and I think at the underlying kind of driver that I'm seeing in this too is that your passion for the topic and your passion because you love doing it and you're never going to not love the content that you're putting out. So it makes it easy, I think, to stay motivated. And yeah, and when you do have someone that's working for you, you want to make sure that it continues to work for both of us. And I feel the same way. Like I want to make sure that it keeps working for both of us so that we can still continue to do this.
And I also think if you're picking a career, you need to pick a career that you love. It's that old saying, pick a career that you love and you'll never feel like you work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've done with this channel. My other jobs I really liked and it was fun, but it wasn't something that I was passionate about and that I really, really loved. This project or this channel or this job is something that I'm so dedicated to. And I love providing value to my followers that I'm just doing whatever it takes to make it succeed. And I hope I'm empowering other women my age too that might be in the same time in their life as me that are kind of not quite ready to retire, want a career change, and maybe something like this is something that might work for them.
Yeah, or and it doesn't have to be what you're doing, but it could be something that they have done as a hobby and they now realize, "Oh, there's actually an alternative pathway that I can do something with." This hobby that I really love to doing, whether it's writing, crafting, sewing, cooking, maybe they really like to like code and make video games, like who knows? And it's something that is a passion project that can become more of a reality, and it really just takes like kind of turning your thought process into why me to why not me,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
other people are doing it, so why can't I do it? Which
Yeah.
is it's
And
easier said than done,
it
but
it is
it
easier
does
said
take
than
work.
done, and like we said before, not everybody is in a position where they can do that, and they
Yeah.
can financially just say, "I'm done with this career, and I wanna put everything into this career," until you have your feet on the ground and you're stable, so, but if you are in a position where you're stable, in this world of technology, there th- there's so many possibilities of what you can do, and it's not just a YouTube channel. I mean, you can do n- back to the knitting, you can do community knitting classes. um
That'd be so much fun.
wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. Or
Yeah, I
crafting.
actually have always wanted to learn how to knit. It just seems like a lot of work.
I used to knit a lot. I haven't in years. I should have taught you. I guess I never really did.
Well, fail.
Yeah.
Mother fail.
I don't even know if I'm good enough anymore to even do a tutorial on it. I wouldn't even go there.
Yeah. I mean, and this switch of the career can be scary. I mean, I've done it. I've done it. I went to school for community development and policy studies, which is a mouthful. You'd probably just call it political science or something at this point, which I think they did after I graduated, not long after. But I started basically immediately after I graduated. I started working at nonprofits, and that was my career for I think almost 5 years, where I worked at a couple of different nonprofits and worked in fundraising and worked in community development and program creation and outreach. I was doing everything basically, and I enjoyed it. I say that I'm a little hesitant to say it because I enjoyed the work and I enjoyed the change that I was seeing, but I had a really hard time going into an office every day.
Mhm.
Um, I am someone who, which you have seen, which I hope you've seen anyways, that I get a lot of work done fast, and it doesn't necessarily take me a long time to figure things out and get things done. And I never understood why I couldn't just leave. Why,
Yeah.
like, why, like, if I got my work done, I couldn't just be like, okay, I'm done. And instead, I would just get more work and not paid more for it,
Yeah.
which was kind of like, which I get. There's always more work that you can do, but then what happened to me was that I was just constantly doing new projects and jumping on other people's stuff, and I just got burnt out really quickly because and what I learned to do was just to not say that I was done.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of talking about is like having being in something that you're not completely passionate about. It was just a job. It was not something where it felt like you weren't completely excited to go into work every day.
Yeah, and was passionate about the work I was doing. I was very passionate about that part of the job, and I still am, like, in terms of, like, my morality compass, I believe 100% in everything that I was doing, and I was passionate about that, but the reality of working in that every day was not something that I was necessarily aware of or prepared to do for the next 30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, and what was happening to me, which was kind of what was happening to you, was I was doing a lot of stuff on the side. Like, I was doing a lot of acting and kind of like some more like storytelling stuff on the side that was making me a lot happier. And then I decided to move to Vancouver and become or try to become an actor, which I'm still trying to do. but um but it also led me to this, which I now consider this a career change because I'm helping like create a big channel that has a lot of artistic qualities to it as well, and allows me to kind of like flex that creative writing side and also just be very flexible in my own life as well. So I'm definitely not a stranger to like completely changing what you thought you were going to do or what you went to school for.
No, and I mean, when you made that decision, you and your husband, to move completely across the country and change your career, it's scary. That's really scary. And it
Yeah.
wasn't stable.
No,
But
not at all.
no, it wasn't. It was scary as a parent making, watching you do that. But I also was so supportive because I knew it was something that you were so passionate about, and your husband too, because he is also what is his title, Kirsten, of what?
Like a camera operator or
Yeah.
DP, yeah.
So on the West Coast, the job opportunities are so much there's so many more and much bigger projects. So of being scared and watching you guys make these huge career changes, I was also really excited because I knew you were going to open doors for new possibilities, and it did. It's worked really well for you.
Yeah, I mean, To an extent, I mean, we're both very happy here and things go up and down, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't regret changing what I was doing for 1 second. Like, I felt very stuck where I was, and I didn't see a lot of opportunity for improvement, which is another big thing of changing careers. Like, if you're sitting in a job and you're like, I am someone who wants to improve and move up, and there's no pathway for you to do that, then maybe that's a sign to switch things up and see about different alternatives. And I am also, for myself, not ruling out another career change in the future. Like, I feel like at some point in my life, I would love to get my master's degree, which might mean a career change or just doing it for the sake of education. And yeah, like, who knows what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, and why not? Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. I mean, it could be that decision could be the best decision that you've ever made.
In the early days of building your channel or kind of like changing your career path, what were like the biggest challenges that were holding you back initially?
Um, I think the things that were holding me back was just the not knowing if it was not because of the work that I was gonna put into it, but whether it was actually whether there was gonna be an audience there. I
Yeah.
mean, I was entering YouTube as a 50 I can't 54-year-old woman. And is there an audience on YouTube for that age group? And is it something that I'm going to put all this time and effort into? And there's just a very small audience, and it's not going to be something that people are going to embrace. I very quickly found out that there is a huge community here on YouTube of women my age that are looking for crafting and thrifting and DIY knowledge and guidance, or just even entertainment. And I almost, as soon as I got into it and I knew I was going to be able to do well at it, I almost feel now that I have to keep going. There's these people relying on me every week to find, excited for a new video to come out. And what is she going to be crafting this week? Or what is she going to be showing us? And then also, and just letting people see that our age group is still has a lot to offer and still has all this knowledge and education to share. And if you have that, consider stepping into a new career and just going for it.
And when you talk about like your age group having still that word still having a lot to offer, what does that mean to you? Like, how important is it for you to keep a career going or make or ensuring that you're securing your future or that you're still relevant, I guess, or still a person at some point as like a woman who is kind of getting into an age where maybe you're thinking about retirement or whatever. Like, what does that all mean to you?
What it means to me is I thought I was starting to feel like I was starting to come down and needed to slow down and didn't maybe need to work as much. And, you know, now that I've taken this path, I'm actually more excited to get up every morning and work. And I don't see a retirement or slowing down in my near future. I'm
Mhm.
like ready to even go faster and more and add more. And I'm really excited. And I think that makes it makes me, anyways, it makes me feel young at heart. It makes me feel, like how I felt 20 years ago when I was like starting a new career, and it just gives me a purpose of I'm still can do something really well. And if you work hard, you'll reap the rewards. And um, just let's keep working. I'm enjoying it.
And what would you tell people, like, if you were talking to people my age
Hmm.
of who are maybe feeling a little bit like disenfranchised with like where they can go, or like, I know I'm 31. Yikes. 31. And sometimes you can you have this idea that your 20s are behind you and you're moving up, you're kind of creeping up to like ages that traditionally you're like, oh no, like this is the point where like it's over for
Yeah.
me. Like my 20s are gone. No one's going to care about me anymore. I'm just going to get like lost in society. Like, do you have advice for people my age who are kind of feeling that way a little bit?
I don't I think that again in this world of technology, there is a tribe for everyone. There
Mhm.
is if you have something to share or you have advice to share and you put it out there and you put the hard work in and you learn how to do something properly, your tribe is going to follow you and going to find you. And think that I don't think at any time in our life should we have that feeling that I think I'm done. I think I don't have anything to offer anymore. I don't like that feeling because I think as we get older, we have more to share. We have more knowledge and we need to get that out there and make sure that we're not feeling resentful because we haven't done that.
Yeah, and also not feeling like your best days are behind you. Like I know for
Yeah.
me and myself, like I had a lot of fun in my 20s, but now that I am entering my 30s, I'm more looking forward and more looking to people who are in their 40s and 50s who have been through it and have experienced, life to an extent that I haven't yet and have that advice and um I mean, it gets better. I hope it continues to get better.
Mhm.
And like you said, I think you do start to feel more confident in yourself and your abilities, and maybe it is easier as you get a little older to pull the trigger on a new career that kind of might seem the opposite of what you previously would think. You think it would be way easier to do it when you're younger, but you have so much doubt. You have so much self doubt, and you don't have a lot of belief in yourself when you're like early 20s because you haven't done anything to make yourself believe in yourself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you also have to have the family support behind you too. And you have to have your family cheering you on and telling you, this is great. Like, how can we help you? And you really need that. And you need to find that whether it's your actual family or your friends' family that are going to pull you through. Um, I think that's really important. And as I've gotten older, and I said I have lots of confidence. I have a room full of confidence, like I said before. But sometimes if I don't have a lot of confidence, I fake it because you know what?
Fake
Eventually,
it till you make it.
fake it till you make it because you might not be really confident the first time that you're doing it. But if you don't do it that first time, you're never going to know. And that second time around, that confidence is going to be there and you're going to kill it.
That is something that I have had to tell myself so often where it's literally when I'm struggling to do anything, like this could be anything, struggling to do something, I just have to be like, the hardest time is going to be the first time. So I
Hmm.
just have to do it one time and it's never going to be this hard again.
Yep.
And if you can get yourself to do it once, then you can get yourself to do it twice, three times. And each time you do it, it's going to get easier and your experience is going to build up and you can kind of take each step and have more confidence in yourself that you are making the right decisions because you have this whole staircase beneath you of examples of how you could do it.
Yeah. And the other thing that's really, really important is you need to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you are. And
Yeah.
then you're always going to pull from them that confidence that they already have or that ability that they already have. And they kind of turn into that teacher or that mentor just by the people that you're hanging out with or the people that you've decided to bring into your friends group. So that's really important too.
And listen to them. It's one thing to have people around you, it's another thing to actually listen.
Exactly, and you need that cheering squad for, like, if you are trying to change a career and you're trying to do something, and if you have people that are negative and, "All this is stupid, it's not gonna work," or, "Yeah, that's a waste of time." I mean, that's gonna really squash your confidence, so be really mindful of who you pick for your circle of friends that are gonna support you and carry you through a new career. And also, I know we talked about some people aren't in a position to start a new career financially because just they don't have the money. They need that stability of having that paycheck come in every week. But also, if you're working hard and if you put in an hour every night after you get home from work, especially with a YouTube channel, put an hour in every night or 2 hours in every night after you're done work. And I know you're going to be tired. I know you're going to be exhausted, but eventually, if you're putting in that hard work, I don't care what it is, it's eventually going to pay off.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not a new saying. Like the idea of 10,000 hours. You
Yeah.
have to put 10,000 hours into something before you're a professional at it or you're even good at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a reality of anything. The
Well,
people
and
who are master piano players were not good when they first started.
no, and this podcast right here in itself is a prime example. I mean, we started and we had no idea what mic was going to work and what wasn't going to work, or like how to our setup, or so, but we started, we did it, and every podcast, I think every podcast that we're doing is just that much better, and we've got the flow more, and we know how to be more entertaining for people that are listening. So, and if that's something that you want to do but you still have to work full time, it's still something that you can, instead of scrolling on Instagram, you know, for 2 hours at night, learn a new something new and turn it into a new career if you're not happy.
Yeah, and I also think that it's important to mention as well that also sometimes like you just want to do something new for the sake of doing something new, and it maybe necessarily doesn't have to turn into a career,
Yeah,
but it can turn
100%.
into
Yeah.
something that is giving you a kind of new push of excitement when you're learning something new and and you see progress and improvement. That can be something that you're just doing for yourself, and it's important to have those kind of things in your life because that's also going to light up every other part of your life as well.
Almost like a vision board. You know how people make vision boards and they have
Yeah.
things that they want to do, and travel. That could be, instead of maybe being a new career, it could be, you want to focus on traveling more, and same thing, put the work in and learn and figure out, maybe if you want to do traveling on a budget, just learn every day something new, and you'll achieve it.
Yeah, and I also think that these kind of things are really important for women as well, to just constantly be um aware of things that are going to make you happy and things that you can learn and be able to uplift people in that same way as well. And with, the older generation and the younger generation, and yeah, just like kind of living your life in a way that you're happy to live and being around other people that are doing the same.
And I think it was also a lot of this career, and me having my YouTube channel was also a way of inspiring you and your brother and your kids, and being able to have you look up to me and say, "Look what my mom has done." She's this age and she's worked really hard and she's achieved this. And then that gives you the confidence of you knowing, if my mom can do it, I can do it. So I almost think it's almost like a duty as a woman or a mother, or an aunt or whatever, to do stuff like that that's going to be inspiring for the younger generation.
Yeah, and it has for me for sure. I have, because of what I've seen you do and what I've seen you be able to do in terms of pivoting careers and learning something new and making it work. I never felt like I was stuck in anything. I never felt that I had to be somewhere and that I didn't have any other option. And for a young woman and even for older women, I think that the power in feeling like you have options is huge, and it's such a big lesson to learn and such a big lesson to pass on as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm inspired. I'm going to change my career again. I quit. Just kidding.
No, no, don't do that to me. Not yet. That means I have to
No.
learn how to do more things. I'm not there yet.
Just kidding, I wouldn't. But I might
No.
go back to school at some point, who knows?
I think that's wonderful. Get your master's.
Yeah. I did wanna talk to you about something that I watched on the weekend that
Okay.
I feel like is very relevant.
Yes.
I always mess up that word. That I feel like is very relevant for, you, I guess, and you probably would really like to watch it. There is a new Martha Stewart documentary.
I actually have been watching snippets on Instagram. She is one powerful
It
woman.
was so good.
I have it. It's on Netflix.
Mhm.
Ah, curse.
And
I'm
it's not a series, it's like a movie.
ah,
Um,
I'm
but
too
yeah.
cheap. I'm too cheap to get Netflix.
Are you joking me?
Can I borrow your code?
No. Buy Netflix.
I'll get Netflix. I don't have Netflix. I was kind of deciding.
I'm probably logged in on on your
No, I
TV at
tried.
home.
I tried. I couldn't get on. I'm kind of, do I get Netflix or I get Disney Plus? But we'll
Both.
discuss that. Maybe I'll have to sign up for Netflix because I do want to watch her documentary.
It was so Rob and I he watched it and he was
Mhm.
interested in it too. We both watched it. And there were so many things that you have this lore of Martha Stewart
Yeah.
and there's so many things that you think you know about her or think you don't know about her because of what was in the media.
Yeah.
And first of all, the documentary was so well done, just in the sense of like storytelling and production value and all that. It was a very well done documentary. But talk about someone who had to change careers. And so I didn't realize that when she was in her, I think she had her first kid. I want to say she was like 20 when she had
Oh,
her daughter,
okay.
very young.
Yeah.
And she married very young. She had her daughter very young. But she always talked about not really wanting to like conform to what a woman and a mother should be at that time, and this would have been like 70s 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz
Yeah.
she's older than you. She's like 80.
Oh, Martha Stewart. She's 82, I think.
Yeah, so she would have been like 20s and like 60s 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, she was like very driven, very ambitious, had a daughter and didn't want that to be her whole identity, which like I can definitely relate with as someone who's a new mom. So I had no idea. She worked on Wall Street as a stockbroker
Oh,
when
okay.
I think in her 20s and 30s, and she said she was so motivated to have a career and to like be in that world. She said she was the only woman working in her office and she was like the stories that I have about that time are wild, like
Yeah.
crazy. So I had no idea that was her first career. So
Wow.
she
Okay.
did that, but in at the same time still loved cooking and still loved entertaining and like creating a home. That was something that she really liked. And I forget why she ended up not being a stockbroker anymore. I can't remember that part of it. But she started a catering business. So that's how she moved into that world.
And I think at that age, she was the same age as me, I think.
She was like 40s when she
I'm not sure, but I think she was
might
a
have
bit
been even
older.
like well, catering then, but then when she got like I think it was the magazine. Like she
Okay.
started a magazine and that was like yeah, 40s, 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had no idea
Yeah. Yeah.
that she
And she
was
has
that
a really neat story of how, yeah, all of the different careers that she had, and so inspiring.
and so and she said before like she was so just driven. Like
Yeah.
so driven, attention to detail like crazy and everyone on her team had to be at that level and but then also it just reminded me a lot of your story and our story where it's like it was coming from an underlying passion but also wanting it to be something that allowed her a kind of like identity and a business around that.
Yeah. and just being at that age and then creating the empire that she's created is is quite an achievement. Yeah.
Well, and I didn't realize also. So her thing now has been, Martha Stewart went to jail and she's
Yeah.
kind of but I remember that happening when I was a kid and being like, "Oh my god, Martha
Yeah.
Stewart went to jail? Like that's
Yeah.
so bad." And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no, I was young, but I had no idea why she actually went to jail. And do you what is your memory of why she went to jail?
Well, because I haven't done any I haven't watched
No,
the
I know.
show, and I
Yeah,
haven't had any I've just gone skim through the actual what I actually know. I thought it was income tax evasion.
that's what I thought too.
Okay, no?
So what happened was she had a really good friend who worked for this company or something. And the company that he worked for went their stock price fell dramatically and they found that he and a bunch of his family sold the stock before it fell. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
like insider trading. He
Okay,
got
yeah,
caught
yeah.
with it and her name came up in the people that he might have told.
Okay.
But in the trial, they found out that she was not guilty of insider trading, like innocent in the
Okay,
trial.
okay,
But then, because at this time she was the female, first self-made female billionaire in the
okay.
United States, which I also didn't know either.
No,
And that
okay.
was like, so she was like top of her empire. Obviously, like people were like not happy about that just for because of what life is, and they decided the FBI, who had people who were trying to like build their careers on like a big case, decided that she had lied to the FBI
Oh,
in during their whole interview process that she was previously found innocent of. They decided she lied, and then they took her to trial over that
oh,
and found
okay.
her guilty of that and made her do 6 months in prison.
Interesting. I have to get Netflix. I'm gonna have to
No,
watch
I know. I just told you the whole story, but
it.
it was so good, and I had no idea that that's why she went to prison, and it was, like, not as cut and dry as
Yeah.
it was before, and then when you think about her whole comeback after that, and
Mhm.
now she's, like, hanging out with Snoop Dogg all the time.
I just love it, and I remember when they first kind of made their partnership together, the cooking show that they did was
Yeah,
hilarious.
I
It was
know.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
She's just
inspiring. I love looking up to, women like that that have built these empires and anything's possible.
yeah, and I mean, to do something that is, like, in her kind of vision, like, she was a woman who, like, obviously worked on Wall Street, like, very driven in that sense, and then to be like, "You know what? I do really like cooking. I do really like entertaining. I do like making a home. I love gardens." Like she has this whole thing about how she loves
Yeah,
her garden.
yeah,
And but I don't want to do just that. I want to make this into something is like so inspiring cuz
yeah.
it's something that I think I feel like I really like cooking, you really like crafting, and it kind of like blends together. Like I was just watching it and I'm like I it blends together really well with what she's doing, but also not wanting to, like, just be in your house and doing that. Like, there is an option to make a career out of that.
Yeah, and that's I feel like for this channel, that's exactly what I've done. I mean, I enjoyed going to the thrift store and I enjoyed dragging a dresser home that looked like it should have just went to the dump and then turning it into something beautiful, but wanting to share that and share the techniques of how to do that and save money and be sustainable and have it turn into a business teaching people how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like it's like she was kind of the first person to do that, really. Like,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
people who were doing it like, there were chefs who were doing it.
That's who I was just going to say. There was I've lost her name now, that did the
Julia?
Julia Childs, yeah,
Yeah.
and very, very determined and strong woman and business sense for what she created.
Yeah, and so, like, so far ahead of their time.
Yeah.
In which and it is really interesting, like, the empire that they were able to build, um, that no one really thought there would be a market for, like you said. Like, they didn't think anyone would buy her living magazine because they were like, "It's just housewives, like,
Yeah.
whatever."
I
And
know.
then realizing, no, there's a
Huge.
whole economy of this, of
Yes.
people who still like to be like build homes and create a comfortable space, but also are not just like in that housewife lane.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that actually really surprised me. And that was my probably out of this whole business, that was the thing that I had the most doubt about was, is there going to be an audience for me in that age group? And I found out very quickly, there's a huge audience and there's so many people that are looking for women our age that are relatable. That was the other thing that I found is you have to be relatable. I mean, I was coming on camera and I was doing these tutorials and I mean, I didn't have my hair all done up and I don't have makeup and I don't have fake nails and doing I'm relatable. I'm the girl that you're going to have living next door to you that's digging a dresser off the side of the road into her garage and you're going to feel like we can be friends. And there's that age group of women are there there's not very many of us that are putting ourselves out into social media or on camera in front of YouTube that um we need to have more of us.
Yeah, and that's what she was saying. She was like, when I first started, like, I was a success because people knew that I was the one cooking my kids' meals, and I was the one planting flowers in my garden, and I was the one redoing and decorating my home. It wasn't that I was, faking it or have, because she also, like, she was wealthy at that point. So
Yeah.
you could look at her and be like, oh, you have a nanny or whatever. And she's like, but no, I was always the one who was like hands in the dirt doing things. And
Yeah.
that was relatable to people. And it is such a huge audience of women who want to see that and want to see people who are relatable and doing what they're doing.
Yeah. And love what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So come on, women our age.
But
Do
I
it.
also like I can't really think of a lot of people who are like who was the next Martha Stewart. Like I'm trying like Rachel Ray maybe, but she's more it's always more cooking.
Yeah, she's a lot younger than I am.
Yeah.
A lot younger. There isn't a lot of women that age that and I shouldn't say because there's a lot of in the TV world, I mean news reporters. There are a lot of women our age that are still doing really good work on that, in that type of world, but there's still not enough of us.
In like lifestyle, like I'm now like yeah, now that I'm thinking like there's like Gwyneth Paltrow who's like lifestyle, but
Yeah.
it's not I don't know, like I think that there like you said there's a gap. There's a
You know who
gap
there
of
is, who I
who?
love? Pamela Anderson.
Yeah. But she's not like a
No, but I
crafter.
just love that she has that confidence and that she has that ability to put herself out there and not have to have a face full of makeup and just be
Yeah.
herself. I love that confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who else did that is Alicia Keys. She did
Oh,
like
did
she's doing
she?
the yeah, for like she's been doing it for years where she's like I'm not wearing makeup anymore. I don't want to be in a makeup chair. I
Yeah,
don't want to waste my time being in a makeup
yeah.
chair. I'm not doing it. And yeah, she's been doing it forever.
Actually, Drew Barrymore just did a really good, interview with, Pamela Anderson that was very good, and neither of them wore
I saw
makeup.
a clip. Yeah, I saw a
Yeah.
clip of that. I saw a clip of her. She like took out her extensions and like threw them
Yeah,
across the
yeah,
room.
that was fun. So, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I think it's a really interesting time that we're living in now where it's like perfection is not required and perfection is not um what is needed, and I think it's literally because of these people like who paved the way before and allowed that to happen, and people don't expect it anymore. They just want good content that is going to teach them something and
yeah,
bring them joy.
and be real. Just
Yeah.
being a real person and relatable. I think that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
And
now you have to get Netflix.
I love the woman that you are and the mother that you are, and you
Thank
are
you.
beautiful and very confident, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And I am very happy and glad that I had you as a mom to guide me to be that way.
Aw, I love you.
Love you too. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye.